Tia Cavender, Principal Associate at Chase Park Grants, is with us now. Tia, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we're at the GPA Conference 2011 in Las Vegas. How's it going for you?
Excellent, yes.
Are you meeting lots of people? And
I am. I really like these conferences, and it's always fun, especially when it's in Vegas.
Yeah. And are you learning a lot? Are you getting to sit through some of the special interest group discussions?
I unfortunately missed those. I've had a few other meetings, but yes, I'm learning and getting to catch up with colleagues and present it as well, and it's a great session.
Okay, so tell me about your current work in grants, Chase Park Grants. Tell me about your firm.
Yes, we specialize in government grants and also strategic grants planning. We offer strategic grants planning and grants research services, and so we focus a lot on not only identifying grants for capital projects or infrastructure projects, but also researching them and analyzing and advising our clients as to whether or not it's worth pursuing, if it fits well with the project, and helping identify ways that they can those clients can tap into some unique sources of funding.
Okay, now you said something interesting, strategic grants planning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of folks that are going to be watching this video really are new to the grants field, and this idea of strategic grant seeking is kind of foreign to the natural inclination, which is to go get all the money we can get. Mm-hmm. Explain the difference, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, the key difference, I think, is that with strategic grants planning, you're really taking an inventory of all that's out there currently that fits with your project, and then mapping it out and paying attention to which you should go for first to help leverage funding from the others. So, for instance, if you decide to pursue a government grant first that's due in December, then which would be which it makes most sense to pursue next, not just based on timeline, but also based on, or not just based on deadline, but also based on the project and whether or not you should ask corporations last, or if you should. I tend to start with government grants and then go to national foundations and then local foundations. And once you start to build a comprehensive funding plan, then you can carry through to corporations or individual donors. So it's really focused on a long-term funding strategy or funding plan where you're taking into account the recurring deadlines as well as leverage opportunities.
And also, I would imagine, I remember from my days when I was consulting before training, and I remember it was always a challenge to get the clients to understand that we need to have the money match the mission, not shift the mission to match the money.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. And so I often tell clients, if you have to convince yourself, or if you're wavering, it's not a perfect fit, then don't even bother. Don't waste your time and energy, and it's easy to fall into that.
It is, especially in today's times where money is so tight for so many of our clients, municipalities, counties, states.
Right,
absolutely.
Right. And I think a lot of times when you have we're all so excited and so passionate about our ideas, so you think that the funder will be as well, but it has to be an absolutely snug fit.
Righto. So you're assisting your clients in developing that funding vision, and then you're following that up with as part of that, you're doing the funder research to determine the good fits there, the timing of it all, and then it's time to put into action. Mm-hmm. Tell me about working with clients as an outside consultant and trying to bring together all the stakeholders to get them involved in the planning process and the development of the proposal, agreeing on the implications of getting the grant, that they're willing to accept that responsibility. Do you find that a challenge? If so, what do you do about it? If not, how do you pull it off?
Yes, that's always a challenge, especially the larger the collaboration and the partnership, the more key players. It's hard even just to schedule a meeting sometimes, to find a meeting time. And so I think the most important part is really working with having a champion at each organization that's spearheading that and bringing that core group together. I think there's also a lot to be said for the grant team, or to be led by the consultant and and to have the consultant actually facilitate what's happening. It takes some of the pressure off of the organization, as well as avoiding the pitfalls that you can fall into when the organization isn't staying on top of it. So it's a lot about harassing and friendly reminders and keeping everyone on track.
Part-time diplomat, part-time writer,
Yes,
part-time
exactly.
Politician when necessary.
That's right.
Yeah, how about that? So you help them bring in the money to put the projects together. Do you find yourself involved at all in the post-award after the money arrives? Do you find yourself involved there, or do you pretty much prefer to stay on the front-end acquisition side of grants?
We stay more on the front end, and if anything, we actually are in the far front end, where the majority of what we do is the research and in-depth information to help them understand how to make their clients understand how to make their applications as competitive as possible. And with our particular client base, which is we work with a lot of municipalities, firms, consulting firms, engineering firms, environmental firms, and so in those cases, you'll find with the municipalities that they're, especially for capital and infrastructure grants, they don't normally have to rely on grants for that, but because the economy is so bad right now, the need is much higher than it ever was before, and so the level of competitiveness is much more important. So we do a lot of that, where we try to identify is there a way that you can actually incorporate renewable energy technologies into your project and turn what's a standard program into a demonstration or a research evaluation project where you can then make it more compelling and more fundable.
Yeah, you and I were talking before we got started here on this interview that you have some really interesting, I would almost call them exotic financing strategies that you've conceived and you're bringing forth into the marketplace. And I got to say, you're doing stuff that I've not seen anybody else do. Could you give us an example of that, or is that like trade secret stuff?
No, nothing secret about it. It's just more about thinking outside of what is normally done. And so a great example that often helps illustrate that is I worked for a hospital foundation as the grants director, and they were building a new hospital, and so of course wanted help raising the funds for their capital campaign. And they had an idea, but it was an idea to put a green roof onto one of the buildings, and so 85% of the patient rooms would be able to overlook the green roof and be pretty. And of course, it was very interesting. It was going to cost an extra $1 million of already $160 million facility. So the CEO really liked the idea. They wanted to do it. If we were able to raise $1 million, then they could do it. If not, they wouldn't do the green roof. So I knew it was going to be very difficult to go to foundations and ask them to pay $1 million for dirt and plants that might die and white roofing material. So instead, what we did is we designed an evaluation study because we had known that no green roofs had of this size, 60,000 square feet,
wow,
had existed with at the same time as capturing empirical data to support the use of those types of technologies. And so we actually also included the bioswales, the rain gardens, and measured the water quality benefits of those and the water runoff benefits of the 60,000 square foot roof. So the way we designed it was that we kept 10,000 square feet of the roof as a control, and then the intervention roof was the green roof, and then that way we had a basis for comparison to be able to demonstrate the benefits.
And did that happen? Did you bring that together?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
How long ago was this?
This was in, I think, 2006.
Okay, so you have some data.
Right, yes, we do. And the study is actually done, and it proved near zero runoff. There's absolutely no, we turned it into, it went from being just a green roof to a stormwater management evaluation study.
Wow.
And so the state was thrilled with the results, and now we're working on energy efficiency components of it, or the thermal properties, to see what difference it's doing to the temperature, the control versus the intervention roof.
Wow, congratulations. Well, that's like one of the coolest things I've heard about in a long time.
Well, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, how about that? You know, I know that we just had one of your colleagues from Colorado here, and she mentioned that you all have just put together a chapter of the GPA there. Have you had any meetings yet, or are you just brand new? Where are you in formation?
Well, they had one meeting, and the second one is coming up in a couple of weeks. I missed the first meeting because of a conflicting obligation, but plan to be at the next, and I'm really excited and grateful to the chapter president, Cynthia, and others for bringing it together and making it possible.
Yeah, do you think you'll find a lot of kinship and probably sharing of resources, ideas, support?
Yes.
Do you work primarily alone?
No, we have other associates that we work with, senior associates, mostly from consulting firms that are all members here, and then also the research staff, contract staff, and one full-time employee.
Okay. So you have some people to brainstorm with and get support from.
Yes, but you know, especially as you commented, because this is so unique, we don't have a lot of not only a lot of peers who are working on the same types of projects, but also there's no standards. There's no place to go for figuring out the best way to do these. So it's challenging enough to find associates or contractors who can write grants well, let alone who can write grants and know content. They have content expertise on these types of capital projects. So it's a challenge, but that's one of the reasons why it's great to have a chapter to vocalize those challenges and identify solutions.
Good. Tia Cavender, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
Thank you for watching.